Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and we're going to be doing some collage today in my collage art book or my collage glue book or whatever I tend to call it. I'm never really sure, to be honest. It's an art journal, but it's not an art journal because I'm not creating art in it, but then arguably collage is art and then it's all glued in, so let's settle on it being a collage glue book, shall we? Anyway, it's been a long time since I did anything in here. The 23rd of April, I think, is the last time I created something, and I believe it was this one. And the reason I haven't done a heck of a lot in here since then is because in 2021 I was doing the Marguerite Miller challenge, and that took a lot of time, and unfortunately this had to be sacrificed, but I'm so happy because I'm back now. So I thought, right, I want to do another collage spread in here. I really enjoy it, and it'd be nice to be doing them without prompts anymore, just creating. So I went through my drawer of scraps of clippings and stuff, and I pulled out stuff. I have in mind I want to do something that's suggests maybe country cottage, maybe lighter times, maybe spring, sort of idyllic ideas. Not a perfect depiction of a country cottage, but the feel of countryside, the feel of spring, maybe the feel of, you get where I'm going. So I've done that, and then I pulled out a few words from my word scraps as well, because I like to put words onto my collage. So hopefully between all of this it will come together. Crossing my fingers, it normally does. But we'll see where we go. So you'll see more of these scraps as I pull them in and pull them out. Other than that, I've got a tear ruler, I've got my smoother, I've got glue sticks on the ready, and I've got a glue book. Now, I'm not sure whether the glue book is actually going to be in shot for all of this. I'm a little bit limited for space when it comes to doing larger projects, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 16 inches across this spread. So gives you a rough idea what I'm working at, and we'll have a chat as we go along. Okay, I'm going to start sorting out some background papers, so I'm going to put these to one side for the future. I do apologise if you hear in the background any scraping or vacuum cleaners or knocking or whatever things going on. We've got the builders in downstairs because one of our rooms, which is our TV room and our dining room knocked into one, really needs a makeover, and it hasn't had one for 20 odd years. And to be honest with you, the current situation in the world, if you've got a chance of getting a builder, you get the builder, and you get them in when you can. So my schedule's had to be disrupted slightly, but I'm not worried about that. I'm quite happy it's disrupted, because the results will be we'll have a living space that's a little more up to date, and there won't be any cracks in the walls, and it'll all be hunky-dory. Okay, before I go delving into a whole load of imagery, should we say, I want to try and put in some background stuff. Now these, I love these. They're textured. They're a fern texture, and these were the cover pages from a Reader's Digest gardening set of 3 books, and I've had these for a while and I absolutely love them, and I think I want to use the green one, which is why I put the lime green washi tape up there, just because I don't want my collage going past the holes, because then I've got to punch through my collage. So I thought I will always put a strip of washi there, reinforces the pages, and it sort of sets the tone for that. So I quite like the idea of that. Might use some of these later. These had sort of a country feel to me, and I quite like those. I want to put book page in because I always put book page in, not that I have to. And I've got some coffee dyed bits. Oh, that's another bit too. Some coffee dyed bits which may become a slightly upper layer. So I just need to start gluing stuff down now. Now, with this new collage glue book, as you know from previous pages, I don't necessarily go to the edge of the page. I'll go as close to it, but I don't have to glue it all the way to the edge, purely because I find that if I do that, sometimes that's where any damage happens or things don't glue down properly. So that's the reason why. And it actually is quite liberating. It's quite freeing when you actually don't have to go to the edge of the page. So just taking these off. Now, this is We Are Memory Keepers tear ruler. Excuse me. It comes as part of a set of 3. There are other tear rulers out there. It's the one I use. However, saying that, I do quite often just use a regular straight ruler to tear up against as well. In this instance, I'd prefer not to have a sharp cut edge, but then that doesn't bother me either. If I have some, I have some. Right, which is the glue that started that one. I'm just using a Pritt stick, literally a Pritt stick. It's a glue stick. It's the glue I normally use, so I know it works for me. This glue book or art glue book, or whatever we ended up calling it, is only for me anyway. If anything ever comes unstuck, I'll just stick it back down again. Thing I do have to be careful of, however, is because this piece is an embossed piece, I want to make sure I don't crush it down too much when I'm smoothing it out. Right, let's just bring it in ever so slightly from the edge. I know there's going to be things overlapping this, but I just really like that. That sort of sets the tone for the whole page. And I'm quite happy to keep this in here because I do love these pages. So we've got that in there. Let's think about putting some book page in, just to define the shape, to be honest with you. If you are using book pages, I would always say if you're going to buy book pages from an inexpensive store, just do a quick sanity check of what's actually written on the page. It's not good if you've got words on there that you don't want people to see. And believe me, some of those less expensive novels, or books should we say, there can be some seriously not good words in those. So anyway, just word otherwise. And I know quite a lot of you do that as well. Also be a little cautious if you've got books of maybe a religious matter to them, because some people will be offended if they find you've torn up a prayer book or ripped into a Bible or whichever religion they are. I mean, some people do get upset at that, and understandably, it's their faith. So just be a little bit aware of that. The other one that I always think I should be cautious of, but I don't actually know how to remedy it without a lot of effort, and that is actually using pages in foreign languages, because I have no idea what's written on that page. I speak English. That's the only language I kind of mastered. Not to say kind of, because there are some days when I can't even string a sentence together. Hopefully today isn't one of those days. So all I'm doing here is I'm just creating, I don't want to say an outline, because it's not even an outline. It's giving me parameters to build within. And as with all collage, it's about layers. It's about visual texture, not actual texture. Although you can put texture in, obviously. But that's not what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm just doing visual texture. I tend to put real texture into my art journal, which, as you know, I have a new art journal I'm working on at the moment. Have you got any videos of that yet? I don't know that I can't remember the publishing dates of the videos. I've been, for 2022, I've set up a lot of new playlists, which I find very exciting, because then it gives me a driving force to create a variety of videos for each of those playlists in a month. So I'm not just stuck doing one thing. And I do find that I get bored easily. And that's probably part of the problem with me being distracted by stuff. I'll get bored and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh really, I don't want to do that anymore. So I've got an art journal on the go. I've got my collage glue book on the go. I've got a new playlist where I've set myself a monthly challenge for 2022, and it might go beyond, where I'm doing naked journals, as in journals without ephemera in them, pretty much focusing on the cover and how to sew the papers in, and I'm trying to do a different version each month. basically so that I can take any newbies that are on the site or out there, help them go on a journey. Because I know when I first started, I found a huge amount of videos on making journals, but I didn't always find a huge amount of videos on at a level that I was happy to start at. I was always impressed by the videos I saw, but it was always a case of I'm not sure I could actually do that, and it kind of put me off. So I thought, right, so I've created this playlist. I think you'll find it just under the playlist of journals, to be honest, which is where everything else is going that's journal related. That's not art journal or glue book journal or anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm starting at the beginning and I'm building. So we've already done one. I know there is one there. I did a cereal box cover. I think the next one I'm filming, don't hold me to this, is actually going to be, what's the next one? I think the next one is going to be a cover that's made out of collaged envelope. And then further on down the line, we'll do a quilted one. Then we'll do a Franken page one. And then we'll do ones that are not just a single signature one, ones that have got a spine to them. There's quite a lot to do. I mean, there are lots and lots of variations in the whole journaling world. And I'm more than happy to delve into any of them and share those skills with anybody along the way. So why do I always do that? I just put my ruler in the glue page again. Anyone who knows me knows I do that quite often. Complete numpty. So I'm trying to be very positive about 2022. I've got a good feel about it. I was really looking forward to the start of this year. And I think, like a lot of us, I've got to the point or the realization where I know that this flipping virus isn't going away. It's going to keep mutating. It's going to keep changing itself. And I, for one, am done. I'm like, I've put my life on hold long enough. I will not take stupid risks. I've had my vaccine, I've had my boosters, I've had my flu shots. I've done everything I can to keep myself as safe as I can. I wear a mask or I wear a visor when I'm out. I use sanitizer. I try not to take risks. But that's just me and my personal choices in how I'm willing to feel comfortable leading my life. I suffered from anxiety, and my anxiety brings on my asthma attacks, so I try to make sure I have peace of mind as much as possible, and those elements are my choice to making myself feel safe. So, and everyone else's choice is their own personal one. I'm not going to get into a discussion about people who don't believe it and people who don't want vaccines and all that. That's fine. That is absolutely your choice. We are lucky in Britain, and I think in America, I don't know what the viewpoint is, but a lot of us have the privilege of free choice, and I know not everyone has that. So for me, I'm going to just enjoy the fact that I've got free choice, and I'm going to choose this as a way of life moving forward, and I fully intend on making it the best I possibly can. If I put that piece down there, I think we've pretty much got the parameters of this built, and then we can get into seeing where my gut instincts take me as far as this collage goes. If anyone is unaware of what the Marguerite Miller Challenge was or is, because it's going on again this year, it goes on every year I believe, there is a playlist on my channel called Marguerite Miller Challenge, and it's basically a weekly challenge where you can either buy a planner from Marguerite Miller where it's set up so there are prompts, or there's 5 prompts and a bonus prompt on each page, and it gives you criteria you have to create within. So maybe it'll be like a place, a label, the colour pink, a number, your favorite animal or something like that. That's just me randomly picking words out of the air. But then what you have to do is you have to create the collage using those prompts. So those elements are within it. The bonus one can be switched out for any of the others, or I actually used all 6 prompts every single week. Took some doing, mind you, but I did manage to do that, and I was quite happy I did, because it was a bit of a personal challenge. And anyway, you did that weekly, and then at the end of the year you ended up with 52 collages. Now, why did I take that on? Because I know you're all going to say, well, Ceri, you already collage. I think as an artist you have to challenge yourself sometimes to, I know we all use the phrase think outside the box, but literally throw the box away if you can. I'm going to keep these other pieces for upper layers. So I did the challenge. As I said, a little bit tricky sometimes, but I managed to get it all done. I really enjoyed it. Yes, it did make me think differently about the way I do collage, and I tended to mix in quite a few other things with it. So I did the collages, and then I might have added junk journaling into them or other things. So there is a playlist. Every single week is on there, plus how I constructed a few other things on there, like the cover. I had to reinforce my cover. Things like that. So it's worth a view. If you haven't seen it already, look that one up. It's interesting. It's something. Yes, it is a weekly challenge, but you don't have to do it weekly. I just chose to set myself that criteria of weekly. You don't have to do it weekly. You could actually just take those prompts, and whenever you feel like you want to do a bit of collage, you could then choose one set of the prompts. So make it your own, do what you wish. So, but I did enjoy it. Okay, right, let's look at this now. I want the feel of countryside, which is why I pulled out some of these. Now, I'm thinking British countryside. I'm not thinking American or Australian or Indian or Philippines. I'm thinking British country cottage type images. So I need to select some of this. I quite like this. This sort of sets almost the tone for me. So I think that one's going down, and I really like that. And I like the fact that that green balances that green. And this might actually just be going in there. So as always, I don't have a plan. I'll keep that because that's a cute piece. I kind of have almost an image in mind, but I don't know whether it's an image or whether it's I'm trying to evoke almost an emotion, an emotional connection or an emotional feel to what I'm doing, and that's kind of where I go. And I know that a lot of you enjoy watching me collage because I verbalize my thought process, and even if I didn't have the camera on, I would probably doing that anyway. Yes, I'd probably be wearing a straitjacket because people think I'm talking to myself, but to be honest with you, I find verbalizing the process helps me get clarity. Also, whenever I do a collage or anything creative, there's always an element of storytelling within it for me. I don't need that big expanse. That can be used in something else. Probably I'll stamp words on that and make labels out of them later. So that can go into the plain paper drawer. Where are you? So there you go. So I do have a definite element of storytelling that's going on in my mind as I'm creating. Sometimes I say it out loud if I'm on video, and sometimes I don't. But there is always something going on. I like that, but I would want some balance down there. So I think I quite like those two buildings, and then I like that as a separate piece. So let's see if I can find a place to tear that through. Right. I'm trying not to be too predictive of what I'm doing. Although I do like that. I do feel I want something here before I put that on there though. So let's see what I've got over here. I thought I had a bit of... Where's that bit of coffee dye paper gone? I've obviously lost it somewhere. Let's use a bit of this instead. That will put some warmth into this, I think. So I've got a feeling this is going to be quite a neutral spread. I nearly didn't say that then. A neutral... I can't say it. Neutral. There you go. Quite a neutral spread. And maybe that reflects like farming for me, or earth, or countryside. I mean, especially in the summer when, yeah, the wheat is turned golden and the earth is a bit parched. It's that sort of feel that I think I'm trying to almost channel here. And that sounds makes me sound a bit like Mystic Meg. And if you don't know who Mystic Meg is, don't go there. It's a generational thing. Mystic Meg, I can't speak for love nor money today. Mystic Meg is actually someone who, a psychic, that's the word I'm looking for. I was going to say fortune teller. She wasn't a fortune teller, she was a psychic. So I quite like that across there, to be honest. So, right, so that's sort of setting those parameters up. I do quite like this colour, and I feel I'd like to balance that down a bit here, maybe with a few thinner strips of this. This, I believe, was a bit of coffee dyed paper that I also used to mop up ink and things like that. So that's where this, yeah, see, it was white paper to start with. So that's pretty much where this has come from. Any of these book pages that get ripped off, by the way, go into a box which is over there now, which is where I'll recycle book pages in the future. And there is also a playlist out there. I quite like that. Looks a bit like clouds, doesn't it? Maybe I'll put that up. Maybe it goes well there. Maybe there. Yeah, where... it goes into a box where I use up book pages periodically, and sometimes I'll just use old book pages in the collage to start with. So there you go. Let's put that one across there. Why do I use the scraper? I'm just using the scraper. It helps spread out any lumps of glue that I've inadvertently put in there. I do like this bit. I think, again, where's that pile of little bits? Right, I've got this little pile over here. Hopefully it's within shot, which I think will be elements that will be brought back in. Okay, so we're closing in on the centre. I wanted to look at some of these, and I'm not sure whether this, it doesn't feel right. That kind of does, but that doesn't. To me, it looks like a French kitchen still life to me. Right, let's put that one over in the parking lot. Parking lot's now living over there. I think this is too big imagery. That's also going to go over in the parking lot. I did like this, although I wish I'd have thought of that, but actually no, it could go there. I quite like this, but I don't like that, so I think I'm going to take that out of it. So let's just tear this down fractionally. Well, not fractionally, quite a considerable amount. Sorry if you don't like the tearing noises. I can't help that. Right. How far down do I want to take this? As I said, this doesn't need to be an exact representation of a kitchen or a cottage or anything of the like, but I want to evoke that feel, and this kind of feels right to me. Just lay a few pieces on. Now, this piece I love. Actually, do I love that there? Quite like the blueness in that, but then I do like this piece as well. Talk about indecision, Griffiths. Maybe if I take this one down, I think what's bothering me is the overall height of it. Love it, but do I need it all? Right, I think that works better for me. Right, I think I want to, or not want to, I need to put something into that gap there. Being a little indecisive today, but I think it's probably because I've not done this for a while. So, right, there was this that I quite like. Let's use this. This is part of a digital by Gail Augustinelli. If you were to go onto Etsy and look up cinnamon tea, as in cinnamon and the letter T, you'll find Gail's shop, and it's one of the digitals I use a lot. I can't remember what it's called. I think it might be something like 1907 or 1807 recipes or something along those lines. Find Gail's shop, have a look, and you will definitely see it. And she does have a few very, very nice vintage looking things on there. Right, okay, so I don't mind that. I need to fill in this before I can stick that down, but I want to leave that there to remind me that that's what I want in there. Now, I do quite like this, but this again is too big for me. So I think I want to tear this down. That little bit can go into there. I'm going to give myself a few torn edges, just because I don't want it so large. I like the idea of the wheat as in representing the countryside, and I do quite like the blue. And I think right by there is where that's going to live. Let's fold that page over because I don't want to glue onto it. You may be thinking I'm going through a lot of glue book pages. You're right, I am. And there's a reason for it. If you were using digital images or printed images, you would find they're a little more resistant to getting stuck to your glue page. But if you're using magazine images, they're not really meant for longevity. And if you put an image on top of a bit of a glue on the glue book, you would find that when you pull it up, you'll just rip the image. So I tend to be overly cautious, I know, and I do tend to do a lot of using of these. Right, I'm wondering, see, it was actually the bread bit I liked. What else is in this thing? In this thing, he asks. Right, I've got some cobblestone walls. That'd be quite cute. In fact, I've got more than one of those. I'm thinking of these things more as top elements, to be honest with you, but I do have, there's a gate. I just literally went through my magazine clippings and pulled out stuff. Oh, there is a loaf of bread in there. Actually, let's pull that one out because I was thinking about it earlier. Not sure lemons is going to work. I think lemons needs to go to the parking lot for another day. I really love this image. I've tried so many times to use this image. Oh, and there's Biscuit barking at the postman. I'm going to leave this in the basket because I'm not 100% certain. That doesn't feel right. Okay, that's gone. Let's keep that one out. Oh, that's interesting. Right, that's I'm being indecisive, aren't I, guys? Right, I do, and that feels more arty than kitchen. Why have I got penguins in there? I must have been having an out-of-body experience when I did that one, guys. Right. See, that again feels a bit still life French kitchen. That's not going in there. I did like these drying herbs, however. There's another bit of a kitchen in there. Actually, I don't mind that at all. And I want to put that in as well. Right, let's start faffing through the box. And there's that as well. Right. Let's see what I've got. There's too much on this page. I can't actually see it now. So, right, let's just put that up by there because I know that's going to go in there somewhere. I do quite like that. I also like that. I like the idea of planting seeds. And I think I want to put that down now before I change my mind about it or talk myself out of it. Because that will then tie into the wheat. And granted, it's certainly not wheat that's being planted by hand. Well, I'd be very surprised if it is. But I do quite like the imagery of that. Now, we know there's going to be things going over that. We know there's going to be things going partially in and out. I wonder whether that looks too contrived. There's that piece again. Actually, I quite like that there. Right, okay. Get myself a new glue page. Actually, I need to take this one out. I've got glue running down the edge. Let's just put that straight over there. Right, I'm going to put this in. I know I haven't torn the edges on it, but I don't always need to tear the edges on stuff. Right. Let's pop that over there. Yes, I'm covering up half the stuff I put on at the beginning. But you know what? That's fine. It's a background. As Diane Reevely always says, a background is a background because it's a background. So I don't need to worry about it. Right, I am liking that corner now. That's developing. I do know I'm going to have to do something down here. I do really like this. I'm wondering whether I need... I'm wondering whether I can put a strip of that down there. I'm liking this flower in the middle, so let's get a little creative with the tearing, shall we? And if I tear that there, then I've got a couple of little strips. That one, no, that's not going to be used. I know it's too small. I'll put that up there. I do quite like that. I don't like the fact that that's got a flat end to it. It doesn't anymore. And I think I'll probably take that down ever so fractionally as well. So I've gone a bit quiet, haven't I? It's just my thought process, guys. It's just my brain is running overtime, to be honest, going, what should I put here? What should I put there? And I'm also conscious that I want to do this in less than an hour, because that's kind of what I set myself for these things. And that's there not because you guys would complain if I went over an hour. I know it'd probably be the opposite. However, I like to set myself a target of approximately an hour. Do you know I'm going to put that there? Purely for the fact that it makes me make decisions, because otherwise I will procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate, and I never get stuff done. So what's the date today? Oh, it's the 6th of January. It was my birthday yesterday. There you go. My birthday on the 5th of January. So how was Christmas for everyone? How was the new year? How did you all feel this year? I mean, for a lot of us, it was our first Christmas where we could actually see family. We could actually do the stuff we wanted to do within limits and common sense, obviously, but that's beginning to work for me. Not 100% certain. There's something about it I don't like. I just don't know what that like is. So maybe down there. Yeah, so for a lot of us, it was the first time since the pandemic hit that we were able to get to see family and friends, although there are still people I haven't seen now for 2 years. A lot of that is due to geographical challenges. They're in other countries that either I can't travel to or I'm still not comfortable travelling to. Right, this was a nice idea, but that now is going into the parking lot. Okay, I keep offering this up, and I like where it's going. I think I may want to do something about this. There's something about this area that I'm not overly keen on, and as this is sort of kind of a fussy cut version, I think I'm going to have to just come in and use the scissors on this. which is fine with me. Yeah, when it came to this piece, I knew, I'll put that back in the box because we'll use that for another thing. I knew that I would never be able to fussy tear this. Okay, I'm liking that better now. Still need to work on that area, so let's park that up there. Right, I'm wondering, I know it's a bit of a quirky moment. Just want to play around with the idea. Kind of. I like the idea of this loaf of bread. I need to think about this though. This I think has now completely and utterly gone out the window. So that's going to go back into the parking lot. I know it's not meant to be that way, but you know what? It's an element, it's a layer, so I can do what I want because it's my collage. So I think I'm going to lay that down on its side because that will bring that pattern across. I am kind of all about visual balance when I do my collage work. I don't know whether it's something I do on purpose. It just is the way my mind negotiates artwork, I think. See, part of me wants to put this over here because it feels right over there. Can I squidge it up? I quite like the gate. I don't want to cover up this. Loaf of bread just looks weird, but you know, I can do weird. I'm okay with weird. Right, what have we got in this little pile over here that might just call to me? There were more houses. There was a bit more scenery. Do I need to put a bit of scenery in there, do you think? Those don't feel right. Right, I obviously don't want the wheat in there because that just doesn't work either. Kind of hit that stumbling block point at the moment. Right, let's have another little look and see what is in here. I'm going to leave that sit there and see if it kind of grows on me. What else is in here? Okay, is there any pink on here? Pink doesn't feel right. I've got this, which could go in. I've got a few more pieces of this, which I really like. Oh, I've got blackberries. You know, I think I'm going to put that in there. Don't ask me why, I don't know, I'm just doing it. So I think that's part of the problem with people who struggle with collage is, and believe me, I am also a victim of this, they worry too much if it's the right thing to do. You know what, it's your art, your way. If you feel it's the right thing to do, then do it. And oh, it's covered up that sideways thing anyway now, so I won't notice that. So if it feels right, just do it. Because the only person who really has a right to judge your work is you. And we're probably the worst person to be judging our own work anyway, because we're all hypercritical and precious and sensitive to what we are creating. I feel I want something across there. So just bear with me a minute. I don't mind a bit of that, to be honest. So I think we're probably the worst people to judge our own work, but we do it anyway. We're also very, very brave if we put our work out there for public scrutiny. Very, very brave. But there can be both good. Let's move that down slightly. I want to see that there is actually seeds going in there. But putting your work into the public domain can, yes, it's very nerve-wracking. Yes, some people will come on and rip you to pieces. And you know what? Those people will do it anyway. However, there are those who will gush over your work and support you all the way, and those are the people who will help you become a far better artist, because they'll be honest with you. They will give you criticism, but in a way that's constructive, hopefully. You usually find the destructive criticism comes from people who don't know what they're doing and can't actually do it themselves, so they feel that tearing someone else to pieces is the better option. I totally disagree with that. Obviously, I would rather support, promote, help people along their journey, help encourage people as much as I possibly can, because you never know who's the next big artist, who's going to come up with something that is then in return going to inspire you to become a better you. I mean, I've never had art training except when I went to school and we did our obligatory art classes, which I loved, by the way. However, am I struggling to put that in, and I shouldn't really be putting it in at all? Unsure. Let's park that back up there again. The fact that I'm deliberating about it bothers me. So anyway, back to, I've not been trained in art. I've just learnt as I've learnt. Actually, I quite like that. That sort of speaks to me of summer days and things like that. Let's just lay a few things on this page. Right, I don't want to lose that, but I don't want to dedicate that much space to it either. I've got some very random pieces in here. That doesn't feel right. Okay, we're eliminating this box bit by bit. I did quite like this little bird when I found it. Maybe the little bird needs to go in there. That's just too pink. I do like this, but I think there's a lot of this on the page already. Right, that's never going to go on here, and that's never going to go on here. So right, so we've eliminated everything in that basket. Let's have a little look at what I've got put to the side. So I've got a piece of this, bit of coffee dyed. I've got more of those pages, but I know I'm not going to be using those. A bit of this I'm not going to be using. I do have another piece of this, and I did like that. I've only got a little bit of it left, but I really liked the freshness that gave. Let's see if I can tear that into strips. And I've got a feeling I want to try and bring a little something up here. Actually, I like it over there. Right. Over there. And I mustn't forget that I would like to put words or wording on this at the end. So again, that will cover stuff up yet again. So let's put that in there. It does seem a little peculiar to me to be creating without prompts. And anyone who's done the Marguerite Miller challenge, I think, may feel the same. It's like, oh, I've done a year of not being told what to do, but being given things that inspire different thought processes. And I'm like, oh, what do I do next? So, never mind, it's just me being weird. Okay, right. I have a hole here that needs filling. Don't think it's coffee dyed paper. That feels wrong. I do have another piece of that, but I think I want to save that for later. I do quite like this. That feels upside down. That's the right way up. And yes, I know you're all probably going, but you just put that down, you've just covered it up. You know, yes, you're right, I did. I love this loaf of bread, but I don't think it's going in there. I'm sort of steered away from this now. I think it was the busyness that was putting me off. I do like this book. This sort of makes me feel that if I had a story to tell about this, it would be that this person sat outside listening to the birds. She's seen, or he, oh, okay, it's a she, my brain has gone to a she. She's seen the eggs that the little one has laid. I'm wondering, I quite like that in this, but I want to put something here, and I know I can re-establish the cottages by putting that in there. Okay, I think I'm getting there. I haven't distress inked anything, but I quite like distress edging this one. I don't know why. Now, there is one decision I made at the beginning of this that I haven't yet told you about. It would have been so easy for me to grab Edith Holden papers to do this spread. I chose not to because I felt that that would be a really lazy option to doing this, because basically you could just stick 3 or 4 Edith Holden pages down on this spread and it would all be done for you. And for those of you who are not familiar with Edith Holden, I want to say her book was called The Diaries of an Edwardian Lady, and it was created to represent, or it was a copy of, her journals and her handwriting and her sketches and stuff like that. So yes, it's very popular within the journaling world to use it. I'm wondering whether I want to do a little bit of that on here as well. I don't want this to become a distressed page, but I do want something in there just to capture the outline of these. So I think we're almost there, guys. I think once I've done this, it'll just be a case of let's think about a few words to put on here. Yes, I'm liking that better down there. And that is going in there. It's speaking to me on several levels. So yes, so I could have reached for Edith Holden, but it would have been such a coward's way out. I would rather create something that hopefully has a feel of country and agriculture and nature, and that's kind of where I was going with this. I need a clean page for that or it's going to get stuck, and I really don't want to rip that one. I've had this image for so long, I can't even remember. It came from a magazine, obviously, but I can't remember how long ago I clipped this image. And this is pretty much the only journal that I've got, or the only place I've got where I do art where it would fit. So my aim is not to tear the image, however, as I'm doing this. Oh, come on, I've just run out of a glue stick. Oh, one-handed glue stick, guys. Come on, open up. There you go. Pages can be really, really fragile when they're made out of magazine articles, as I think I've already said. Right, I did quite like that there, because that still gives me the fence and the gate. Yes, that makes me happy. That feels right. To me, there's now a story about wandering through the countryside. Someone sat down to write her journal. I keep saying her, not intentional. It just seems to feel like it's a her thing. Wandering down country roads, watching birds, discovering eggs, drying flowers that she collected on a walk, although she shouldn't be taking stuff from nature. Countryside, a village she lives in. This feels right to me. I'm looking at this thinking, I think I'd like a bit more of this in here. But I have got in 3 spaces, so let's just stick with the 3 thing. That's a gluey page, right? Okay, let's have a last little look at the pieces that I put almost in that parking lot. I don't think this and this need to go. This, however, feels like it could rear its little head. That looks like bookends. That's not going to happen. I feel this needs something. And I'm wondering whether it just needs almost a square. And don't ask me why, I really do not know. It feels like it needs something like that. Yeah, I know my brain is a bit funky at times. So let's lift that up. Pop that in there. Now I haven't done any stamping. I've put no numbers on here. I've put nothing else on here. Let's fold it over so it doesn't stick. Right, have I got everything stuck down? Yes, I have. Okay, this to me feels country-ish. I'm happy with that. Now I need to find words that also represent this for me. And I've got some seriously sticky fingers going on here. Right. Escape. That could potentially work. Make it work for you. That's not saying this. Moss green. We did have green in here. Don't know whether it's moss green. I've got, excuse the rattling, I need to get a wet wipe. My fingers are sticking to absolutely everything I'm touching. Do you know, I can never get these flipping wet wipes out of the containers. They really frustrate me. Oh, for goodness sake, come on. This is what happens all the time. I have to take the entire bundle out and then put the entire bundle back in again. Sorry, anger management lessons needed here when it comes to dealing with huggies. I'll deal with you later. So, yeah, get the glue off my fingers or I'm going to be sticking to things all over the place. Right, so, right, moss green kind of appeals to me. Kitchen tips, no, there's not enough kitchen in this. Not enough kitchen in there. Perfect. Now that kind of goes there and kind of goes there. That's another word I think I would do. Easy living. Don't think that's what this is. Food and drink, no. Get set for summer? Potentially. Set the scene for welcoming spring. That might work. Somewhere to call home. I don't, oh look, the joy of the empty nest. That sort of does work, but it makes me worried. It's like it's an empty nest because you stole the eggs. I'm not doing that. That saddens me. Okay, so let's try and lay a few words down and see whether they do anything for me. Oh, something stuck in my throat. I'm just putting stuff down. It doesn't mean it has to live there. It's just if I put them on the page, I can see them better. I think some people call this auditioning. It doesn't work for me, that word. I don't know why. Probably because I used to be an entertainer. And believe me, I've had enough of auditioning. Right, I don't like this one now. Get set for summer. Probably the word summer would work, but it's not working. Somewhere to call home. Why would this be in the spread? Right, those are my options. Now I need to reverse eliminate. I like moss green, but there's no reason for it to be here. There's no moss. There's only green, and I'm not sure I would call that moss green. So that one can go. Everything for me has to have a reason to be on the page. Now, I think I originally put this down here because I like those colours together. And I think that might have been a right decision. I'm really liking the word perfect because of the colour, but I don't know whether the position of the word perfect is perfect. I feel that's too big. Let's get rid of that one. Sorry guys, this is just the process my brain goes through. I quite like that happening. Let's just put this one to one side a second. I'm not disliking it. It's just currently, it's not feeling like it's got home. I'm just going to put a little bit of vintage photo at the edge of this, purely because it needs to be framed up. Just needs a little something around the edges. And this is going on. Because I think if I commit to this, then that's one step closer to me finishing it and being happy with it. And I am happy with this word perfect. It feels right. The colour is right. It just gives me that 3 pieces and triangulates. I know it sounds a bit technical for everybody, but my brain is just a weird thing. Right, just give this a little touch as well. I don't want this to be darkened in any way. I just want to give it an edge so it can possibly be seen a little clearer. It'll draw the eye if it's got an edge. Is there anything on there sticky? That feels sticky. I do not want to have a problem at the very last moment. This patch here is kind of bothering me, and I think that's why this really feels well to me to pop this in here. Because to me that feels right, and I've not lost that, and I really love that, as you know. Now some would say, why don't I rub over this with an ink pad to bring out the texture? I like the way the texture is made by the way the light falls on it, and I like that. Okay, so we've got that, and I think I do like the word escape, because it's escape to the country. If I put it by the bird, it looks like the bird has escaped from somewhere. Escape would work there because it's by the gate. Actually, I don't mind it up the side there. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of brown on the edge of this as well. Maybe that's the gateway to this collage. Maybe whoever this person was that went through this gateway, this is the treasures that she found on the other side. And I know, yes, I'm a bit quirky with my storytelling, but I like things to have a reason, as I've said. And it's part of the joy of collage for me. I get to enjoy the whole process of thinking and creating, and I think innately I am a storyteller, or I wouldn't have... Oh, there's Biscuit again. It's probably the postman this time. In fact, yes, I am got a delivery today, I just remembered. Right, let's clear this off a bit. We are definitely in shot. I know I can see it here, I'm sure it was there. I think that's okay. I'm not upset by that. That's a really nice looking collage. It's very different to the last one I did, which some would argue was spring, or maybe this is summer. I mean, who knows what the next one's going to be. Please let's not go to winter too quickly. I think these probably need something, but I'm going to let them be because they're beautiful pieces on their own, and I like the way that I didn't intentionally do it, but triangle, 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 triangle. It's just looks like I'm so pleased I got to use this in the end. It's funny because I did think about writing something on here at one point, and then I veered away from it. I think this works. It's not overly bright and colourful. For me, this sort of does represent a summer's walk in the countryside. I like it. I'm okay with that. So hopefully you like that as well. Until next time, I mean, I'm going to try and do one of these a month. So again, this will be a video playlist that will get populated once a month, and it'll be this size collage. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not really sure what's next. I don't really think ahead when it comes to doing these. I usually wake up in the morning, walk to the workshop or the craft cave and go, right, what I feel like doing today, what shall I create? I look through my scraps box. I mean, we could use, like, I'm doing a lot of jelly printing lately. I could be pulling in things, these are just scraps that I've used from other. I could do a really dark and mysterious spread at some point. I could just do a complete abstract one. I haven't done an abstract one, actually. That would be interesting. I'll give that some thought. So anyway, just know that there are lots of things. So this is the collage for this month. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, this is who I am. Positive comments are always welcome. A like, a share, a subscription, a thumbs up, whatever you feel you wish to do, then please do what you wish to do. If you want to find me, that's where you can find me generally. My name is Ceri. I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time, bye bye now.